Hare Krishna students, let us discuss about QBasic variables. Now what is a variable? A variable is like a container that can hold something. That means in programming in QBasic, a variable holds a value, such as if I write a is equals to 10, that means the value of a is 10. Hence we call this a variable. In your book, it is given that we can also use the let statement to assign a value to a variable, but we also can do this in this simple manner also without using the let statement. Writing a equal to 10 also is going to assign a value of 10 to a. Okay, so this is something that we have to understand, that a variable is one means what a variable is. Let us check by using the let statement that how we can assign a variable to it. Remember that here mentioning the line number is not necessary. Okay, that line number is already automatically should being displayed on the left hand side. It is we are on line number 1, so it is automatically mentioning, so it is not necessary to for us to mention the line number here in QBasic. So let us write let. You have to write let in capital letters. Let a is equals to 10. That means we are assigning a value of 10. Remember that if you are doing algebraic equations or algebraic sums in mathematics, there also we take that let the value of or let the sum of something be x. So similarly here also let command is used, or let statement is used as an assignment statement. Okay, that means we are assigning a value of 10 to a. So let us now try another thing. Let's take b equals to 20. Okay, and after taking b is equals to 20, we can take sum equals to a plus b. That means it is going to add a and b, and by using the next statement print sum, we are going to print the value of sum. So let's run this program and check how the results come. Okay, so as you can see, the value of 10 plus 20, 30 is being displayed on the screen over here. So this is how we can run a simple, very simple program over here by using the let statement and the print statement. Let us take some other values also, like over here I can take some x dollar. Whenever we are taking something with dollar, we already have studied that this is going to be a string or text. So let me type sum is colon over here, and then along with this sum, let me also print x dollar and then sum. Okay, so let's check how this works. Then click on run, start. We have to just wait for a few moments for the file to be created, and then the file will be created. Yes, it's showing starting program. Okay, can you see it is written sum is 30. So this is how we can also display things. Okay, now what happens over here? At this point I am showing you also the use of the print command. Here the print command also can sum items directly. That means instead of writing this sum is, let me make this a remark, rem sorry, let me just remove this, it will be much better. And instead of printing this, I will just write a plus b over here. So it is going to directly print the value of a plus b. Let's check. I'm not printing sum, remember, I'm printing the addition of A and B. Okay, so as you can see, 30 is being displayed over here. So this is also a way we can directly do the sum while printing. Instead of creating a variable called sum, it can be done directly. Next, what we can do is, we have seen how string can be printed. Now let us start to check. There are different forms of the print statement. We can use those different statement to create different work. Okay, so let's see how this works. I'll erase everything over here, whatever is there, I'll erase everything. Okay, now let's check how this is going to work. Now each and every statement is taken with x dollar equal to, within double inverted comma, my name. Okay, then my name, double inverted comma, close. Then I have let y dollar equal to is, and let z dollar equal to okay. So let's start by using a print option, or you can also use the semicolon for printing. Okay, so we'll use semicolon to print all the variables in one after the other. X dollar semicolon, y dollar semicolon, z dollar semicolon. You can also, there is no need of semicolon in the end. Okay, next we will be printing with a space in between x dollar, then semicolon, then there will be a double inverted comma that is representing a space, semicolon, y dollar semicolon, then followed by a space, semicolon, and then z dollar. So these are the things that will be printed over here. Now let's check if this program runs or not, or how this program runs. Okay, as you can see, when we are printing side by side with semicolon, the values are stuck against each other. Okay, and hence we had to give a special double inverted comma in between them, so that we can use the space there. Okay, so this is how we can separate the values with space. You can also give space within the double inverted comma variables also. That also can be done. You can also do this in this way. I will show you that also. That I will remove this part, remove this statement over here. So I will give space in front of these writings. Okay, that also can work properly. So if I do this, and let us check if we print how it comes. The program is starting, the executable file will be created. Now the thing is, as it is taking a time this much, because yes, as you can see, it is being displayed over here in the same manner as with the double quotation print statement. Okay, so this is also, in a way, you can print text however manner you like. You can print it. It is much easier to give space from before rather than giving it afterwards. Okay, so this is something we can do it very easily. Okay, now next, moving on with printing with comma. Usually whenever we are printing with comma, there will be plenty of spaces in between them. So let's check if we do this. I'll do with this one only. Okay, we'll check with this one only. I'll put comma in between them, and run it. and check how this works. Oh, as I was saying, the program is taking time as because there are every time we are editing the program, and the program has to be created every time newly in a completely different fashion, and that's why it is taking every time to run this much. Otherwise, if we did not we had just created the executable file and running that file multiple times, it would not take this much amount of time. So as you can see, my name is a variable, then I've given comma, y dollar is and this is z dollar. So as you can see, if you print with comma, there will be a lots of space in between the variables. Okay, so sometimes we need to print so many things in a single line with space. Okay, so therefore we use the comma statement. Now let us use the tab function. By using the tab function, now the tab function is mainly to print position to the column indicated in its argument. That means it is similar to the tab that we use in Microsoft Word. If you have learned it earlier, there is a tab option on the keyboard. As you can see, this tab function also does the same thing. Now let us check how this particular thing works. Okay, we'll write the same program that is given in your book. Okay, so I'll just erase everything over here and then write the statements. So it says print tab 10, print tab 10, then semicolon within double inverted comma name, semicolon, then tab 20, then semicolon, then it says within double inverted comma marks. Okay, then we'll write again print tab 10, semicolon, and inside that we'll write a name. Okay, then after that we'll type tab 20, semicolon, and then we'll just write a value over there. Okay, so let's check how this program runs. This is going to display mainly in tabular format. Okay, now let's check how this works. There is no need to write multiple lines to check this program, so I just wrote a single line over here. Oh, okay, as you can see that it is being displayed. Tab 10 means 10 spaces from the left side, then the name is going to be displayed. Then after that it is going to be tab 20 is going to display 10 more tabs from the left side, and then it is going to display marks. So as you can see, the exact position of each and every value is being displayed. So therefore the tab function can be used to display data in a tabular format. Okay, just remember this will be more than enough. Now let us discuss some other thing like the input statement. What is the task of the input statement? The task of the input statement is wait for an input from an user. So if I want to print the sum of two numbers, but I do not know what the two numbers is, and the two numbers would be given by the user. So what to do? So we can do this in this way. Okay, so specifically we can all take a single input as well as multiple inputs in a single line. Okay, and we can also use it to do our work. So let's take and do a sum of two variables. Okay, so we'll take first input, enter first number, and we'll take a variable called x to store it. Okay, then we'll take input, enter second number, we'll take a variable y to store the value. Okay, then we'll print sum is semicolon x plus y. Okay, and then let's run this program. So you will see in the window that it is asking for a number to be inserted. So as you can see, enter first number, it is giving a question mark, that means it is asking for something. So let me give 10, enter second number, then it is asking me for another thing, let me give 50 over here, press enter. So it is saying sum is 60. So as you can see, this is how we can simply write our input program. That means this is how we can take input. Now I'll press any key to continue. Let us run this program again. Okay, so next let us give 50 plus 60. So this is going to do this. So this is something very much versatile, as I can enter any values. Previously the sum program I did could only sum 10 and 20, but here I can sum any numbers, any values that are given here. So this is how we can simply create summation of two values. So we'll be doing this much today, and I had told you that I will be taking live classes, but due to some unavoidable technical issue I am unable to take the live class. So just watch this video, and after this I will provide you with a live class. Thank you.